Imagine this: a quiet farmhouse in the Tennessee countryside. The sound of crickets in the fields, the warmth of a fireplace, children laughing, and the peace of simple rural life. But what if, in that silence, something unseen whispered your name? What if shadows shifted when no one was there? What if an invisible hand pulled you out of bed, leaving you gasping in the dark? This isn't folklore told around a campfire. This is one of the most chilling, well-documented hauntings in American history. The Bell Witch of Tennessee. Stay with me, because tonight I'll take you back more than 200 years to a haunting so terrifying it left even future U.S. presidents speechless. The Bell family's new life. In 1804, John Bell, a farmer, moved his wife Lucy and their children to Adams, Tennessee. For John, it was a dream: lush farmland, a place to raise his family, and the promise of prosperity. The Bell farm thrived. Their home was surrounded by fertile fields, orchards, and a small community of neighbors. It was the perfect picture of early American life. But dreams can rot from the inside, and soon their dream farm would turn into a nightmare. The first signs. At first, the disturbances were small. Strange scratching sounds on the wooden walls at night, like claws dragging along the planks. Heavy footsteps pacing through empty rooms. Knocking sounds that echoed through the house, though no one stood at the door. John dismissed it. Perhaps animals, perhaps the wind. But the activity grew worse. The children began to complain of rats gnawing at their bedposts, though no rats were ever found. Blankets were ripped from them as they slept, and sometimes invisible hands slapped their faces, hard enough to leave red marks. The Bells realized this wasn't ordinary. They whispered among themselves. Something was in their home. The voice appeared. The unseen tormentor grew bolder. It found a voice. At first, it was faint, a woman's voice humming hymns in the dark. Then it laughed. Then it was mocked. And soon it spoke clearly, carrying full conversations with the family and visitors alike. The entity named itself Kate. Locals tied it to Kate Batts, a neighbor who had once quarreled with John Bell over land. The spirit itself sneered, calling itself Kate Batts's witch. Whether it was truly her or something ancient pretending to be her, no one could say. But it hated John Bell, and it swore to kill him. An intelligent terror. Unlike ordinary ghost tales, this spirit wasn't just noise in the night. It was sharp, cruel, and calculating. It could mimic voices perfectly. It revealed secrets that only neighbors knew. Ministers, farmers, even strangers who visited the Bell home heard it for themselves. Some nights it would sing hymns to Lucy, John's wife, and even bring her fruits, as if mocking kindness. To her, it showed compassion, but to John Bell, it unleashed pure torment.
It followed him everywhere, whispering insults, cursing him, promising his death. The Bell Witch wasn't random chaos, it was personal. Visitors and witnesses. Word spread quickly. The Bell home became infamous across Tennessee. Curious visitors came, eager to prove or disprove the haunting, but each left shaken.
Some were struck by invisible hands. Others heard the witch repeat their thoughts before they spoke them. It mocked preachers, quoting their own sermons in twisted tones. And then, one night, one of the most famous visitors arrived. Andrew Jackson, the war hero who would later become the President of the United States. Andrew Jackson's encounter. Jackson came with soldiers, skeptical but intrigued. As their wagon approached the Bell property, the wheels suddenly locked tight. The horses reared, refusing to move. A booming voice filled the air. "You may enter, but you will never leave." Jackson's men panicked. One soldier claimed he was struck and whipped by invisible hands. Another swore he felt knives pressing against his skin. Jackson, shaken to his core, left the farm by morning. Years later, he admitted the experience was too terrifying to describe. If even a future president couldn't endure the Bell Witch, what chance did anyone else have? The torment intensifies. Years passed. The witch's torment of John Bell grew unbearable. His health declined rapidly. His face twitched, his tongue swelled, and he slipped into violent seizures. One morning, the family found him unconscious with a small vial of strange black liquid by his bed. When they questioned the spirit, it mocked them. "I gave him his medicine. He is mine now." On December 20th, 1820, John Bell died. At his funeral, mourners gathered in grief, but even then, the witch would not let them rest. As they lowered John into the ground, her voice rang out in cruel laughter. She sang loudly, mocking the service until the final shovel of dirt was cast. This was more than haunting. It was murder. The aftermath. After John's death, the witch claimed she would leave. But before vanishing, she promised to return in 7 years. True to her word, in 1828, the entity reappeared briefly, haunting John's son Richard. And then she disappeared again. But locals say she never truly left. To this day, people in Adams, Tennessee, claim to hear whispers in the fields. Strange lights flicker near the old Bell property. Some visitors feel icy hands brush their shoulders in the night. And deep inside a cave near the farm, now called the Bell Witch Cave, tourists still report voices, touches, and shadowy figures lurking just beyond the light. So now I ask you, if you were walking alone in the quiet Tennessee woods and you heard your name whispered in the wind, low, mocking, familiar, would you keep walking, or would you run, knowing that the Bell Witch still watches, still waits, and perhaps still kills? This is not just a legend. This is the Bell Witch haunting.